Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.
Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your.
Welcome back to Bitch Call Your Sponsor. My name's Misty.
And I'm Sam.
Hey, Sam, you want to do our opening?
Sure.
Our primary
purpose
is for Misty,
is for
and,
Misty
Sam
and Sam
to grow
to
their
grow
friendship,
their friendship
and maybe,
and maybe
help
help
others.
others.
Okay, the topic that I brought for us today is authentic, because I authentically changed our topic. And the reason I did is that, one, I've spoken 4 times this week and I'm so sick of my own story. And 2, we just have such a good thing going that somehow telling our stories just felt really forced and I couldn't imagine it. And so I was like, I'm pivoting. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad that you sent that text the other day saying, I've thought about this. And that it's to just continue as, proceed as we have. I really appreciated that message. I've been just preoccupied with a lot of life stuff that I didn't necessarily slow down enough to just kind of listen internally and hear what's happening, which when you sent that text, I was like, that's exactly right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, great.
So however minimal, I think I hearted it or maybe thumbs up. And then that was like the extent of my interaction. But I was so appreciative that you were in touch with yourself and what we're doing. And we're able to relay that in more than just emoji or whatever those little tag things are when you tag a message.
Okay, good. Perfect. Now I will keep going with authentic as long as I have that example and checked in with you. Because I was like, yeah, there was a heart. We could be on the same page, or you could be like, whatever, Misty. So one thing that happened last night, which I just think is really funny, is I spoke at a meeting and afterwards I was asked to speak at another meeting in a couple of weeks, and it's a 40-minute speaker. And the woman said, hey, I'd like you to do it on this date. And I said, okay, great. And she was like, I'll text you. So she texts me and says, okay, I'd like you to be the 40-minute speaker on this date. And can you bring the 20-minute speaker in a lead?
Interesting.
I was like, oh, so can I do your job? I was just like, I sat with it for a minute, kind of like you and I just spoke about. And I was like, I don't want to do her job. And I'm okay if I'm not the 40-minute speaker at this thing that she asked me to do. So I just said, I can do the 40 minutes on that date. And then she doubled down and wrote back, okay, and can you bring a 20-minute speaker and a leader? And I said, no. And at first I was about to go, oh, no, I don't. And then I was like, no is a complete sentence. I let go of my attachment to the result. I do not have to provide an excuse. No, period. And she wrote back and said, okay, great. I'll find one for you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, I love that. There's so much.
Go ahead.
I keep rearranging my little setup. I've moved my mic literally. I am kissing my microphone.
I can hear you. It's great.
Okay. Just so much. I've never actually had that experience where someone is asking the speaker picker, right? What I'm hearing is the speaker picker was asking you to pick the other speakers, the other service commitments, that it seems like that would fall under their role and responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just so interesting. Like, for once, I didn't automatically go, okay, I'll do that. I was like, let me check in. That just doesn't seem right.
I love that you said no, period.
Sam, that to me is the equanimity, because my experience, strength, and hope is that I either make a really long excuse as to why I can't do it, or I, appear angry and like, never mind, I can't speak on that day anyways, right? Something rude. But to just be able to say no, period, and let go of my attachment to the results of what this person I met 30 minutes ago thinks of me. Oh, it was so nice.
It's so free because, I guess there would be it's like, I guess in the former example, it's like, if, would you then forfeit the 40-minute slot? Like there's a lot of like unknowns that are there, by saying no. And I'm fascinated and interested to see who shows up for the lead and the 20-minute or whatever the other 2 slots were.
Right. Well, it's not like I'm a comic and I'm bringing a bringer, right? That's not what we're doing here. She obviously has a service commitment to bring speakers to a certain meeting. And so what she's done, which is kind of brilliant and definitely a Misty hack, she said, I'll bring the speaker and then I'll tell them, hey, bring your own intro and bring the leader for the meeting. And I was like, brilliant hack, but you know what? I'm not doing your footwork, babe. And I also was in a meeting. This may be like, when I say authentic, we could just rename this to Misty's complaints and meetings topic. But I went to a meeting yesterday. It was a women's meeting. And one of the girls got up and was like, I was a pathetic alcoholic. Pathetic. I'm just pathetic. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I'm reading a bunch of Florence Scovel Shinn right now. And one of her books was Your Word is Your Wand. Like, what you say is almost like it's your Harry Potter magic wand, What you're saying is what you're putting out there. And I know she was talking about previously that when she was drinking, she felt like she was pathetic. But she's standing up there and everybody with 20-something years saying, I'm pathetic. Present term. And I just was like, ugh. And then the speaker doubled down and was like, yeah, what she said, like, I'm pathetic too. I was like, whoa, ladies, your word is your wand. Let's get in there.
I love that. I was just having a conversation yesterday or the day before, I don't know, everything's a blur, about, I don't say Sam, I am an alcoholic. I just say Sam alcoholic. I don't affirm that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Because, I've been sharing with sponsees this week of, if worrying is praying for what I don't want, right? What words and actions and thoughts am I continuing to foster? And I'm essentially creating them.
Exactly. Your word is your wand.
Yeah. I mean, listen, in the old days, I want to say probably in the 30s during Bill's era, like they used to say the word is the bond, right? And so you have my word is an expression that actually meant something. Like no one was quick to have a litigious, let's get a lawyer involved and make sure everything's all buttoned up. It's like people's word was their bond in the sense of, when someone said something, there was integrity behind it, and they were going to do as they said, period.
That is interesting. I've never heard that. Your word is your bond. Oh, yep. My God. That is amazing. Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I notice a lot of times in certain meetings, it almost becomes like a humble off, right? Of who can be the most like, I'm so small. No, I'm the smallest. No, I'm not worthy, And it reminds me of that Marianne Williamson quote, "Who are we not to shine?"
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've been speaking a lot too lately, but I've been speaking in these interesting ways that I've not experienced in all my recovery, where it's a recurring role. You know, it's like I'm basically
More.
one person speaking at this one meeting for the entire month of February.
What?
Yes. And
Are you
then
like doing the steps or something?
the meeting is based on a chapter in the big book. And so there's 4 weeks, the month of February, that I am there sharing 20 to 25 minutes each week. And,
Yeah.
The chair basically said, you could think of it as like 120 minute qualification lead that you just split up over 4 weeks. I'm going to choose to do a step a month, a step a week, so that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So last week was my first thing, so I did my story, my qualification, as it were, and then I think what's coming to me, I'll see what happens when I get there, but what's coming to me is to loosely focus on 2, 3, and then 4, the first, because it is beginner focused. So that came to me this week in the shower. And then there's another meeting where I'm also, there's 2 people that are there for 4 months going through the big book. And for me, it's like intimate in a way where I'm like, I normally just show up, speak, and leave, but this is over an extended period of time. So part of me has this whole narrative of like, oh yeah, it's like to deepen my connection with people where I see them regularly, and it's not like hi bye, maybe. I have no idea, but I'm interested to see how it kind of unfolds. But I've never experienced this before.
Yeah, we had that in Texas, but it was an hour share for a month. So you would speak on the steps. I think it was like 1, 2, 3, and in the first one, and you would go through all the steps for a month, and you would be the hour-long speaker.
Wow! So would you go every week for the month?
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's fascinating. All these different formats.
And I do have to say, in Texas, it was either an hour-long speaker or individual shares. Like somebody would read something and then everybody would share. And there was no 20-minute speaker, which when I got here, it was so confusing. And at first I liked it, but now I just don't know how we get away with no crosstalk and having a 20-minute speaker, because with the hour speaker, there was obviously no crosstalk. But like last night, I stand up and tell my story for 20 minutes, and then people talk, and what they hear isn't what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's crosstalk. Like you just told a room full of people something I didn't say, Anyways, I just find that interesting.
I sometimes, and this crosstalk thing, I think we alluded to it in one of our ACA things, is that the crosstalk for me ends up like when I'm the speaker, it ends up landing like I'm on like American Idol or America's Got Talent, where there's a rating that oh my God, what a great share.
Right.
Versus I identify with this. And sometimes the drunkalog ends up like a pissing contest of like, oh, you woke up in a dumpster. I woke up in blah, 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 blah. It's like, where it's not helpful. It doesn't serve anybody.
Oh my gosh, Sam, I spoke at this meeting this week, and it was during the afternoon. And as I'm speaking, or right when I finish, and by the way, chef's kiss on this share. It was like one of my best shares ever. I walked in, was so relaxed. It was so much fun. I had the best time. I was a stand-up comedy routine and crying. Okay. It was so good. And I can say that because I do feel like I have a whiteout experience and I never know what's going to come out and I don't prepare for it. And it was just so good. These women are like, oh my God, that was amazing. At a certain point, you don't know what to do. It's awkward. And then we had an earthquake.
Like earthquake needed to evacuate or stand in the doorway.
Sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your.
Send us an email with comments, questions, or concerns, bcysponsor@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate 5 stars.